KFOR had a rough week of COVID reporting. The first one is this tweet they had, because they have now like completely edited the story. Ivermectin causes sterilization in 85% of men, study finds. Immediately smash that retweet button, like get that baby going. We need this everywhere. And some of the media immediately were like, "Oh, this is not true. We need to be careful." They've already like pulled the whole thing back. Like if you click on this story, it's like it doesn't even yeah, ivermectin infertility story correction. Like it doesn't say anything anymore. It's like a total oops, we messed up. I just thought it was funny in the sense of like, one, because obviously it's like it just says a certain thing to a certain group, which is a little humorous. But where obviously it's bad is that it's essentially fake news. It the study was very small sample size. It didn't end up being, nobody. I think the peer reviews on it were very questionable. Anyway, yeah, they almost definitely shouldn't have posted it. And related to that was KFR the previous week had a patients overdosing on ivermectin backing up rural hospital story, which got picked up by Rolling Stone and also went very viral all over the place because the doctor was quoted as saying like gunshot victims are having trouble getting a bed. While I think the story was all right as it was, it did leave a little too much to interpretation, and it relied way too heavily on like only two sources and didn't really get enough context. So just lazy reporting, really. But obviously, like, when you've got hundreds of people or 1,600 people in the hospital that you don't typically have in the hospital, like that is going to lead to capacity problems. And states and hospitals have been reporting that for weeks. This was just a way of like trying to get a hook on that story. And of course it backfired because then it's fake news and all that. But where I'm like okay with both of these stories is that they really kind of prove the point of like why the right's anti-vax positions, anti-mask positions are so ridiculous. Because it's like, yes, if you cherry pick a story and remove most of the context and then just regurgitate it 100 times, a lot of people will believe it. Like it's almost like propaganda, and the media sort of does it all the time. I mean, with clickbait stuff, with the way they report, crime in our community, with the way they report all sorts of stuff. And it's like in most cases, you could easily inoculate this by just putting a couple sentences of disclaimer in there saying, hey, this was one study. We really couldn't find anything else when we searched around for it. So take it with a grain of salt. Or, this story about somebody doing a bad thing applies to this person, but like you can't apply it to everybody. But we don't do that. And the media, I think, could like, as they're reporting salacious, outrageous things, could just take 10 minutes and add 2 or 3 sentences of context, helping to educate their readers, and we'd probably be better for it.
While I am not a scientist and the study was shoddy at best, any dickhead who refuses to get the vaccine and takes ivermectin probably is uncomfortable with the functionality of his penis. I think that there is probably some room there, but not. But moving beyond that, yeah, I think it's this like salacious, clickbait
Yeah.
media environment that we exist in. Like that's how you. So many organizations, that's their source of monetization and interactions. You need interactions. You get interactions on social media by being salacious, and you have to just crank out bullshit a lot of the times. And I feel like they feel pressured to crank out bullshit, which is why it's important that um, we support good media, especially good local media, that so if they don't feel beholden to clickbait journalism that is detrimental to us all. It's detrimental to us all. First of all, it's just misinformation. Secondly, those anti-vaxxer dipshits, they always, they'll take something and run with it for years. Like, see, this is why KFOR and the mainstream media hates us. They said that since we took ivermectin, our dick stopped working, and our dick didn't work before then. But like the point I'm trying to make, it's like they take stuff like that as attacks on them, and I don't know how much that should actually go into the consideration, but just trying not to fall victim is easy for me to say because I don't have a funding model dependent on clicks and interactions, right? But just trying to find a way to minimize the incentive to become clickbaitish and not share quality information, especially around issues like a pandemic. So again, and that's why it's important that we support good local media. So there is less of an incentive to, crank out clickbait bullshit and more just quality reporting on things that are essential to our daily lives.
Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.